What's going on, everybody? We have more updates on SafeMoon, including this audio clip, and it's pretty long, so we're going to move into this very quickly. First, starting off with a post from Live for Afford, pending order regarding 75 motion to approve bid procedures for sale of assets. I did talk a little bit about an objection that was taking place in another video. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend that you go do so. And then we also have a posting here from SafeMoon themselves saying the court approved the attached bid procedures for SafeMoon's operating assets. Qualified bids are due by April 4th, 2024 at 5 p.m. MT. An auction will be held on April 8th, 2024 at 10 a.m. MT. Any objections to the sale or sales must be filed with the court on or before April 15th, 2024. And as I just mentioned to you guys, there was an objection. You guys can check out my other video on that. Then we have the posting here from Live for Afford, PDF with attached audio file. The court date and time was March 21st at 2 p.m. It gives you the file size and a little bit more information. And before I play this video, I'm going to tell you about the crypto exchange Margex. Guys, if you haven't checked out this platform yet, there's no KYC. You can actually do leverage trading on there, anywhere from 5x all the way up to 100x. You got a whole range that you can choose from. You can also buy crypto directly through their platform using MasterCard, Visa, as well as some other payment options. You can mimic your trades off of some of the professional traders and see how they're performing on the platform. And you could also do some staking options. So they got a lot of stuff that's going on with the platform. A lot of people have been turning to use Margex. And the thing is that if you use my referral link and you decide that you want to make a deposit of $100 or more, you can get a $50 bonus. I mean, think about that. Put $100 in, get a $50 bonus right off the bat. You're up there, $150, and you can play around with the leverage trading. But you don't have to make a deposit if you don't want to. If you just want to look around the platform, that's okay. You can do that too. I have my referral link down in the description below. It's available in a lot of regions, but if it's not available in your region, you can always use a VPN. But I'm not saying that you should use one. There are people that do that. Okay. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop back over here and let's check out this audio clip.
The United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Utah, the Honorable Joel T. Marker presiding, is now in session. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Good afternoon. We've got a couple of matters in the SafeMoon US LLC Chapter 7 case, 23-25749. Let's start with appearances, starting with the Chapter 7 trustee and her counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ellen Ostro, Chapter 7 trustee, and appearing as well as my counsel, Jeff Goodman.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jeff Goodman for the trustee.
Thank you. For the U.S. trustee?
Melinda Wilden for the United States trustee.
All right. Mr. Rose?
Mark Rose, appearing on behalf of the debtor, SafeMoon US LLC.
And counsel for the SEC, is it Jasnock? I'm sorry.
Your Honor, John Jasnock with Scott & Scott. I am actually lead counsel in the securities class action on behalf of lead plaintiffs, Mark Combs, Vlad Iacob, and Benjamin Northey.
Got it. Thank you. Although the SEC is a fine place to work, I'm sure it is. Anyone else wish to make an appearance before we get started? All right. The first matter, Ms. Ostro, is the motion to set a deadline. Typically in this district, the trustee simply requests the clerk to send notice out, and then it goes to everybody that's on the matrix. This case is a little unusual because of the, I would call them the unknown unknowns. People that are out there that we don't know may have an interest in this case and need to receive notice. Why don't you tell me what you're trying to do, and then I want to go through the timeline because I'm not sure the way you've got it set out in the papers is going to work, and we may need to adjust some of those dates.
Sure. Ms. Ostro, do you want to handle that, or would you like me to respond to the court?
I can go ahead, Mr. Goodman. So, Your Honor, and this will be interesting to get, I've spoken with the U.S. trustee about this as well. I actually would like to kick this motion. I apologize. I did not give the court additional heads up. We've gotten, since we filed the motion, some concerns from former employees regarding confidentiality. We also received concerns from investors about account information being, because of the nature of crypto and the way that a submission would potentially disclose financial information of each of these individuals. We have a new potential process of hiring a claims agent that would maintain the confidentiality and the concerns of these some of these creditors that we've received notice from. To the extent that that is while we would propose to have this notice sent out, Your Honor, I'd like it to be consistent prior to the court approving it, so I don't create confusion for claimants and how the process would work with the claims agent. So I have already received a contract from the claims agent. I've interviewed to see how much that would cost the estate. I do think that it would be worthwhile to protect the confidentiality. I also, Your Honor, spoke to the court just to see if that was something that could be done without incurring that cost to the claims agent, but I believe it'll be more efficient for the estate to have a claims agent who can keep that confidential. We have reviewed other crypto bankruptcy cases, and it has a similar confidentiality where those claims are not made on the public docket, and I believe we would have a broader reach and receive more claims that way, Your Honor, from those potentially predators that are out there. And with that extension, considering Your Honor's concern about or what you raised about the timing of that, I'm happy to submit a supplement once we have the contract submitted with the claims agent, seek approval of the claims agent from this court, and kick out the proposed claims bar date. But we would still go through the same notice procedures of putting that on the SafeMoon social media website and then also through Coinbase. But that would be my proposal, Your Honor.
All right. So you want a date certain to continue this hearing, or given the fact that there haven't been any objections, do you want to just proceed and have an order endorsed by the United States trustee?
With those changes, Your Honor, to the extent that works for the confidentiality and the claims agent, I would prefer just to have that endorsed by the trustee when we can submit an order rather than an additional hearing.
Ms. Wilden?
Yes, Your Honor, as Ms. Ostro said, we've been in discussions about the confidentiality issues, and we would be fine to work with Ms. Ostro on an acceptable order in the future. We don't have any objections to what she's proposed.
All right. So then when you go back through that, just so I don't kick it back to you when you submit it to us, obviously you need 90 days notice under Rule 3002C5. So I think what would be helpful in the order would be a specific date certain for notice to be sent out, and then calculate that deadline out. So for example, if you were going to use April 3rd as a date, then the claims bar date would be, for 90 days out, would be July 2nd. And I think it's helpful to have those concrete, rather than something amorphous that says like 3 or 5 or 10 business days. I think that'd be helpful.
Understood, Your Honor.
And then the only other thing, it's a small thing, but for the claimants that have some sort of crypto, and I apologize, I'm not even sure what we're dealing with here, some sort of crypto claim, when you're using the petition date, are you talking about the exchange rate at midnight on December 13th or the exchange rate on December 14th at the close of business?
I believe our intention was December 14th, Your Honor.
All right.
The close.
Just clarify that. It probably won't make a lot of difference unless something remarkable happened between those 2 days. But so I'll find that as to this specific motion is to establish a bar date, that notice is proper, Under the circumstances of this case, it makes sense to have the trustee individualize the notice as much as possible with some guidance from the U.S. Trustee's Office. So I'll grant the motion and look for an order substantially in the form that you have it, with whatever bells and whistles the U.S. trustee wants you to add to that, endorsed by the U.S. trustee, and then we'll sign that and get you off and running on that, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So then we've got the motion to approve bidding procedures for the operating business assets. So these are not crypto financial type assets. These are other assets.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
This,
Mr. Goodman, if you want to go ahead, just tell me on the record, it's in the motion, but what type of assets are we talking about? And then who might be interested in this and who has been interested in it?
Sure, Your Honor. Thank you. So these assets, Your Honor actually anticipated was supposed to be the second part of my thing, was that it's not the crypto. It's the intellectual property that's owned by the debtor. It's processes. It's their digital wallet. It's their platform. It's basically the components that someone might want to try to operate a similar type of crypto business. But it's not attempting to buy. We don't have we're not attempting to sell the crypto or customers or anything along those lines. It's really kind of like the back office portion of the business to allow this business or something more likely something else to be run in the crypto space. So some may only want the intellectual property. Some may want the processes. It's possible someone wants the whole load of assets that we are trying to sell. But it's essentially everything but the crypto, not causes of action and those kinds of things. But it's really the portions of running the business outside of the crypto itself. And that's the first part of your question. The second part is we've been in discussions. There were a number of the debtor, and Mr. Rose is some of them. The debtor had attempted a marketing process in a short period. They kind of ran out of time and money to look. So we talk to prospective bidders. Those we're already dealing with. Those that are outside in the industry. We've used our advisors at Dundon. We've used my colleague who's a crypto expert. We've had people who've reached out to us for perspective who are interested in the assets. We don't have a stalking horse, so we don't have anybody who's ready to sign up and say, I want X, I'm willing to pay Y, and we're ready to go. We're not prepared to do that. So it's kind of an open auction process, but it's kind of an amalgamation of those who reached out to the debtor pre-petition, those who were aware of in the industry, and then some partners who are already doing business with in some capacity. So those are the prospective buyers. Now we think probably we've talked to most of the people that would be interested in acquiring some of the assets. That's not, but certainly after this process, this case is well covered in social media, Your Honor, and otherwise. We expect that there will be coverage and of this event, and we certainly hope that not only the people we've already talked to, but others will get involved between now and our proposed deadlines. And I'm happy to get into those if I've answered Your Honor's questions so far.
So far, thank you. I was concerned up until about 10 o'clock this morning about the service and notice of these matters. At about 10:30, trustee and counsel filed at docket number 85 a certificate of service that calmed my nerves about the service of this on as many people as possible. So I'll find for the purpose of today's hearing, based upon docket number 85, that notice is proper for this expedited hearing. I again have some questions about the deadlines set forth in the motion. And before I forget about it, it looks like there's a typo on the bidding procedures order, which is attached to the motion as Exhibit A on page 6. It's got a sale objection deadline of April 18th, which I think is the proposed hearing date.
Yes, Your Honor. I saw that in preparing for the. Thank you for your Honor's on top of all of it. I saw that in preparing for this hearing that we'd made a typo. In the motion we had asked for 3 days before, which is the 15th. I'm happy to go through those dates, but I apologize. I was going to ask Your Honor to submit a new order. Obviously, Your Honor may have other comments, but for that is a typo. That should be that was proposed to be the 15th for the 18th here. And Your Honor, in terms of the dates, Your Honor may recall, we obtained an order to operate the business, which allowed us to operate the business through April 15th.
Correct.
We were trying, there were kind of a number of factors that we took into account and talked about what process. We generally think everyone who already knows about this and they're ready, either they're going to bid or not within the time frame. That this isn't going to be like, I do a lot of coal work on the committee side, finding someone in the Ukraine who may want to bid. It's not likely to happen here. There are those who are already involved and those who are already aware, and we think they're going to be involved in that. That was one component of the analysis. The second was that we had obtained from Your Honor an order to operate the business through April 15th, and we were trying to stay within those parameters, roughly speaking. Obviously, if we have biddings, we may need a few days to get to a sale hearing, or maybe a few days after that to close. But just roughly within those parameters. And there is a cost to keeping systems. For instance, there are certain systems, if no one wants to bid on them, we may shut it down. And the earlier we can do that, we can save expenses for the estate. Now, we hope that someone bids on everything, but there is a benefit if there's X asset that no one ends up wanting. If they only bid on the IP or other things, and there isn't a bid on certain systems, we can stop incurring costs on them. So,
right.
Those were the components.
Right. As for notice, if you can serve, assuming the motion is approved, you can serve the bidding procedures order sooner rather than later. I mean, it gives you like 3 business days to do that. Can you agree to a date certain, such as perhaps tomorrow, to send that out so that everybody knows how much notice has been given?
I think it's the Salt Lake group that's doing the back office, and I see Miss Oster nodding her head, so I'm going to take that as a yes that we can handle it by tomorrow.
And for the court's comfort, and as we've been discussing with the U.S. trustee, we will put this up on the moment that the order is entered. We'll put this up on the SafeMoon's media channels. We will also go to the 500 plus individuals that are potential purchasers that the financial advisor Dundon has reached out to, which include parties that the contractors and former employees have recommended themselves, and those people that M3 had reached out to previously. And we'll get it out in the mail, and we will circulate it as widely as possible tomorrow, shortly after the order is entered.
All right. And again, the leases and contracts, I've given you an extension until, again, that same April 15th date, but with a hearing to approve a sale of assets and an assignment of whatever leases and contracts somebody might want on the 18th. Do we need to massage those dates somehow?
It's possible, Your Honor. I don't know if we submit in order to a motion to you to move that out, perhaps 10 days, 7 to 10 days. It's probably a fairly short period of time because we're asking for the the hearing. Yeah.
But plenty of people have stubbed their toe on a deadline. I just don't want it to happen.
Understood.
So if you're aware of that, anyone else have any comments on the bid procedures motion before me today? All right. And the other shoe to drop in the case is the actual financial assets sale motion at docket number 64 that's on for hearing on April 2nd, correct?
That's correct.
And just a heads up, anything going on with that motion at this point?
Well, Your Honor, we've had significant discussions with a number of parties, including the U.S. trustee. Frankly, U.S. trustee at their request. We ended up publishing out to social media, the various social media channels, that motion. I believe it was either yesterday or the day before. Mr. Ostro can confirm me what day it was. Based on our comments to the U.S. trustee, we've also, I don't believe they're here today, but we've had multiple conversations with the SEC about that motion, actually about the concept of that motion even before we had the motion. So those are the two main parties. We've certainly had a couple investors send emails, and we can have to talk about that now or talk about that on April 2nd without anything formal. But our main parties we've been coordinating with have been the U.S. trustee, along with the SEC and obviously prospective buyers.
All right. And I'm sorry, going back to the bid procedures motion, I had one other question about the various, there would appear to be different lots of assets, and somebody might have an interest in one lot, but not A and C. They want B, but not A and C. Have you thought about how you're going to determine what's overall highest and best for the estate?
Yes. I mean, I think I have a lot of, because of the cold cases, we deal with this a lot. I've had a lot of experience with dealing with these kinds of situations. It's not always easy, as Your Honor is very well versed with. But I think, we're hopeful we get an overall bid. But if not, if pieces, we think this auction process could be one of those auctions that's if that's the case, a 6-hour, 8-hour auction, not a 45-minute back and forth kind of auction, where we're going back to people and hopefully with the help of our advisors at Dundon, piece it together. But I can't tell you for sure how it's going to go, but I do have at least a feel for dealing with those, at least from my cold case experience.
All right. Well, this business is about as far from a coal mine as you can get.
This is true. That is true.
All right. Any other comments or questions about the bid procedures motion? All right. And we do not have a proposed order on the docket. There's one attached to the motion to provide notice to people. So I'll assume that anyone besides Ms. Wilden want a chance to review and endorse as to the form of the order before I sign it? All right. You'll have to make Ms. Wilden happy then, and when the order comes in, I'll sign it.
And there was an order uploaded, Your Honor, but not with the corrected typo, so we will withdraw that, and after sharing with Ms. Wilden, we'll get that revised order up for signing.
All right. Thank you. Anything else to be accomplished today?
Just generally, Your Honor, wanted to give the court an update and a status update. We intend on filing a second status report by no later than early next week. We have been working on the infrastructure and the operations within the company. Previously, I informed the court that we did hire some independent contractors to help us. They have been very helpful. We've been able to bring on the liquidity pool funds. We've also been working to identify other assets, including outside wallets that belong to SafeMoon. We've brought those into the estate and are still working on securing additional assets to be distributed to creditors. We've also reduced the contractor spend. I mentioned to the court before that it was about $67,000. We've brought that down to about $10,000 every 2 weeks, so an 84% reduction. We received retainers as well, and also the money from the FD Bank. So that's currently sitting in the DIP account. As Mr. Goodman mentioned, we have been in communication with the SEC. We've also been speaking with the FBI about a previous hack and recovering assets for the estate and for creditors through that. And we've also had a conversation with Mr. Josnak about plaintiff's counsel for the securities action and the class action, excuse me. Again, as before the court, we're working to sell the non-crypto assets through this pending motion. There will also be another sale motion that will come through for a few de minimis assets. that we'll be engaging Earthlands and Olson to help with some audiovisual equipment for sale. But that's a general update, and we will provide a periodic report for operating the business by early next week. So those are just general updates.
Look forward to that. All right. Thank you. Appreciate all your time and effort today. I assume the person that's listening on as RJS is not Chief Judge Robert J. Shelby, but it could be. You never know. Anybody know who that is? All right. Again, thank you for your time and efforts today. The court's in recess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And there you go, guys. There is the full audio. So if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, like button. Feel free to share what your thoughts are on the comments below. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, I have that referral link for Margex down in the description below. You can also check out HG Access. It's an exclusive trading group. Almost 2,100 members over there now. And if you want to join that, you can find the link down in the description below. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Double shout out thank you to Victor Vegas and Worlds of Rizvi for being higher level patrons. Thank you to my YouTube members for your support as well. God bless, and we'll see you in the next episode.